Boys, jog in. Grab the balls, jog in. It's going to be warm, so let's make sure that we respect the heat. We put in some good work, hopefully get a little bit of fitness out of this. And it's going to be a phenomenal opportunity for us to learn, to spend some time getting to know each other, but also getting to know ourselves. Let's just not, be teammates on the footy field. Let's embrace each other off the footy field. Let's really embrace this trip, embrace the opportunity that it is. All right, hands in. Dominante! 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's go, boys. ABC. ABC, grab balls, grab balls.
Yeah, first training session in the heat was pretty full on. Certainly an onslaught, particularly on that first afternoon, having got off the flight. The heat is part of their learning on you can just keep going and have a crack anyway.
That first training session when we got on TIO, that was crazy because we were just burning. I think we did like one running session, like one warm-up session, and we were already like dying by the heat, so it was pretty mad.
1, 2, 3, go in!
Deadly Footy is about creating opportunities for kids through sport. For Indigenous kids, it's about creating opportunities through sport and access to sports equipment. And for non-Indigenous kids, it's about bringing them up to the NT so they can experience the beautiful country, experience that alongside local Indigenous players and elders, and have a First Nations Cultural Immersion experience like no other.
There was a few things that I really hope that the boys and myself got out of it. The first one was to see our remote Indigenous communities and meet those people and break down the barriers, because whenever you've got a community that you learn about mostly through the media, it never really paints the picture that's the reality of what actual interactions with people are like and what their lives are like. So getting out to see that and experience that will frame all of their thinking probably for the next 10, 20 years of their lives.
My language is Mayali Gunjaitmi. It connects us with the Platter, very important connections. Our clan, the Murrumburu clan, we call it the Garbo people. Garbo is green ants.
They have obligations to this land. People visit this land, but it's our role to uphold the laws of the land, to protect it for future generations. So when we share our knowledge with you, that's part of reconciliation, isn't it?
You just learn so much, you never know. You just keep learning more and more and you're like, oh wow, wow. And every day we're doing something new, like going from the footy field to literally the country. It's been a journey. We've done a lot, yeah.
The field out there at Jabiru is probably the most beautiful footy field I've ever seen. The view out over the escarpment and this beautiful green field. We had about 1 million bats in the trees next to us. Every time Coach blew the whistle, they all freaked out.
It was great going back to Kakadu, so that's where I went to school, and so it was fantastic taking the kids back there. But we get out to the footy field and it was incredible. It was like the Pied Piper. The kids heard, the leather Sharon on boot, and they came out of nowhere to come and kick the footy round. And it couldn't have been planned any better. And so, they've got the Cranbrook boys there across those two teams, kicking a footy round with half a dozen local Indigenous kids who just came because they loved the sound of the football being kicked. It was beautiful. One of the other great things about Jabiru was getting access to Richard Tambling.
You guys are a bit too young to know this, but I played 128 games with Richmond and then Adelaide Crows through.
Richard Tambling, who's an AFL legend, also a Jabiru boy. Right? So grew up in Jabiru, became an AFL superstar, and then has come back to Jabiru to give back to his community, which is just inspiring. Right? And the kids and the teachers got to hear that story.
I think once we went back into his classroom at the school and he really opened up to the amount of effort and the amount of work he puts in as a person to support so many kids. I think he said it's like a 600-kilometre radius.
You know, these kids have to struggle every day to stay at the school, and I guess the way they live is a lot more different, and I think that was really good for us to actually realise that, and coming out of that bubble again and kind of realising what the broader world is, that we don't live in this place where everything's like, you know, structured. It's like people live this type of life that we haven't heard of as before, so I think that's great.
We wear about 20 different hats on in a day. We're not only their mentors and their teachers, but sometimes we take them to the clinic because their families, like I said, 60 kilometres away. Families don't have cars. Kids, got some major cuts that are infected, so we take them to the clinic.
The opportunity to connect with people through a shared passion really opens the doors and breaks down the boundaries so that conversations begin more naturally and, you know, genuine relationships form. We were super lucky to have Uncle Richie Fejo with us for the week. Uncle Richie in particular was just amazing at, you know, communicating with people on their level, and he brought such a message of hope and compassion and wisdom with him for the whole week that the boys absolutely loved. They've all kind of built a connection there with him as well.
What I want you to do is just stop thinking. Stop thinking about everything. Feel the water on your feet. Feel how nice that is. Feel the sun on your back or on your face. Listen to the waves. Feel the breeze. Look at the ocean. How peaceful that is. How tranquil that is. Wiggle your toes. You can actually feel stress leaving your body and it's going into the ocean. The ocean's a big place, it can take it. I'm putting your sweat in the water with mine. The old people here, they know who I am. Now, by putting your sweat with my sweat in the water, they're going to know who you are. Their eyes will open to you. They will welcome you to this land. They will guide and protect you. When you go to sleep tonight, the spirits will be watching you, making sure that you have good dreams, making sure no bad spirits are there. Feel that breeze, appreciate it. It's our old people acknowledging you and accept the embrace of this land, the ancestors.
So there's two tribes from Litchfield, Kangarakan and Warro. So I'm Kangarakan, and our way of greeting or welcoming somebody, we say Kimmek. I guess say just Kimmek Ray or Kimmek Uncle Ray, whatever. And then you're off to go, okay? Kimmek Richie.
With Deadly Footy, it's country, culture, footy, and in that order. Right, so the kids come up from down south and they experience breathtaking country. You know, this year we went to Litchfield National Park and Bully Rock Holes and Florence Falls. So they get to experience this beautiful country. But it's also about culture. You know, we've got First Nations Cultural Elders who take us around on their country for an opportunity of a lifetime.
I mean, bro, the waterfall, that was insane.
Florence Falls was insane.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
I remember just looking up above and looking at the waterfall and I was just like, wow, that's crazy.
And so it's about giving those kids those experiences. And then at the end, you know, they kick a footy round.
A bunch of the local St Mary's Footy Club players came and joined us for some training sessions. Yeah, we've had a brief window into the level of passion for AFL in the Northern Territory, and it's clear, you know, everyone here can kick a footy and can pass a footy.
The beautiful thing about footy is it doesn't discriminate. When you chuck on a jersey, you belong to that team. And it doesn't matter the guy next to you, what colour he is or what ethnic group he is, he's your teammate and you take care of your teammates. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. Richard Fijo. I'm a Larrakia man from Darwin. And I've actually been spending the last few days with Cranbrook, coming up from Sydney, showing them around Kakadu, Litchfield and Darwin. It's an opportunity for us Territorians to play host to people from South, to welcome them to our land and our community. So while we're playing together, remember we are hosts. And one of the themes that we've been talking a lot about here is reconciliation. And this is an opportunity for us to mix and for us to share time on the oval, but time together, talking and building on friendships and relationships into the future. So as a Larrakia man, I sincerely and humbly welcome each and every one of you to Larrakia land. Thank you.
It was also great to partner with O'Loughlin College. You know, when the NTAFL put the call out to say, hey listen, you know, Deadly Footy's coming up with Cranbrook, who wants to play them? Apparently, inside 2 minutes, O'Loughlin College responded with, yes please, pick us. And they were fantastic. Great bunch of kids, great oval. You know, Cranbrook were a little bit jealous of their facilities, which is fantastic. It was just a wonderful game of footy played in great spirit, and just goes to show, you know, the love of the game was kind of the most important thing and brought all those kids together.
Footy-wise, we expected definitely like an intensity and a shift in like play style, and as well as the players. Like we expected the players to be a lot fitter and used to the heat, so they'd be able to run quicker and stuff like that.
I definitely thought we were going to get like absolutely smashed, but it turns out we weren't actually too bad. We came up, I think we won.
Yeah, we won
the game. So it wasn't too bad in the end, but honestly, yeah, they got some really good players. We had some of their good players on our team, but otherwise I literally thought we were going to get absolutely smashed. So it was pretty good coming out with a win.
One of the things that was really important when we were putting together our tour was to make sure that it wasn't just about sport and that we were creating other opportunities for the students to get out of their comfort zone a bit and meet different people and experience different parts of the world and create real connections with people, as well as coming up and playing some really great footy as well. So, you know, those two things merging together, it was a perfect opportunity for that.
We called Uncle Richie and we wanted him to be with us in our final team photo. We were so grateful and so thankful for what he'd done to us throughout the week. He was basically part of our little team, which was fun.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. Myself and Tom and the NTAFL are planning the next Deadly Footy camp next April to be held at TIO Stadium, and can't wait to bring a couple of other schools from down south to play local schools here in the Northern Territory for a really fun carnival that helps to share that experience with more kids.